He's recognized.
Chairman, thank you for getting to the truth in this scandal. Let's look at one of the Tea Party groups in my community. The founder, a small businesswoman, originally filed for tax-exempt status in July of 2010. Fully 20 months later, in February 2012, she received a letter from the IRS with numerous follow-up questions, a lot of them intrusive, but she answered every one of them and returned it well within the 2-week time window. Now, almost 3 years to the day that she first filed, her application is still pending. But let's look at what happened to her in the 3 years since she applied. Beginning in December 2010, she was visited by the FBI Domestic Terrorism Unit. Her personal returns and her business returns were both audited by the IRS. She received 4 FBI inquiries. In her business, received unsolicited audits, unscheduled audits by OSHA, the Commission on Environmental Quality, and the ATF twice. Now, this is a citizen and a small businesswoman who had never been audited by the IRS or any of these agencies until she applied to you for tax-exempt status for her Tea Party. The broader question here, is this still America? Is this government so drunk on power that it would turn its full force, its full might, to harass and intimidate and threaten an average American who only wants her voice and their voices heard? Mr. Miller, who in the IRS is responsible for targeting conservative organizations?
So let me first say I cannot speak to a given case, and that we've talked about 6103, but that's...
This is not just one case. You know we're talking about the whole list the Inspector General put up there.
Correct.
Who is responsible for targeting these groups?
So again, I'm going to take exception to the concept of targeting because it's a loaded term. The listing was done by
This was not a listing.
In,
you created a beyond the lookout list.
Yeah.
That's not a centralized government mandated or directed listing. You had a beyond the lookout list that you acknowledge. You have the cases the Inspector General already verified. So the question remains, who is responsible for targeting these conservative organizations?
So again, and I think if you look at the TIGTA report, it answers your question.
There are no names in the Inspector General's report. So I'm asking you, not only as the acting commissioner, but as the deputy commissioner over this organization, who is responsible for targeting these individuals?
So I don't have names for you, Mr. Brady, and I'm willing to try to find that out. I think TIGTA is looking at that right now. I don't think targeting, again, is wrong.
You're telling us you have no knowledge of who initiated or who approved this targeting of conservative organizations?
I will stand by what the TIGTA report has put out there as the facts.
Can you assure this committee that none of the information provided the IRS by these groups was shared or given to any other federal agency?
That would be a violation of law, and I do not believe that happens.
You can assure us there was absolutely no sharing of this information with other government agencies?
TIGTA and others will look at that, but I would be shocked, Congressman, if that happened. Shocked.
If your earlier answers are any indication, we will all read about it in the media. We ought to be getting the truth from you. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Thank you. Mr.